Let me ask you something. When was the last time you woke up in the middle of the night and couldn't fall back asleep? Not just once, but again and again and again. You look at the clock. 3:12 a.m., 3:47 a.m., 4:18 a.m. And in that moment, something feels off. Now here's what most people think. It's just aging. It's just stress. It's normal. But what I'm about to tell you might completely change how you see those early morning wake-ups. Because if you're waking up between 3 and 5 a.m., your body is not just having trouble sleeping. It's trying to send you a message. And most people miss it. I'm Dr. Carter. I've worked with older adults for over 40 years. And I can tell you this with absolute certainty. Those early morning wake-ups, they are not random. In fact, they often follow patterns. Patterns tied to your hormones, your nervous system, your hydration, and even your emotions. But here's where it gets dangerous. Most people respond the wrong way. They panic. They stare at the clock. They start calculating how much sleep they've lost. They force themselves to fall back asleep. And that is exactly what makes it worse. Let me paint a picture. You wake up suddenly. Your eyes open. Your body feels heavy, but your mind is fully awake. You glance at the clock, and instantly, your heart rate goes up. Oh no, not again. Now your brain kicks into overdrive. If I fall asleep now, I can still get 4 hours. No, wait 3. Why is this happening again? And just like that, your body shifts from rest into stress. Your nervous system flips a switch. And instead of drifting back to sleep, you've just activated the exact system that keeps you awake. Here's the part most people don't realize. Sleep is not something you can force. You can't chase it. You can't demand it. And the harder you try, the further away it gets. I've had patients tell me, "Doctor, I lie there for hours trying to sleep." And I always tell them the same thing. That's the problem. Because the moment you start trying, your body starts resisting. Why? Because your brain interprets that effort as pressure. And pressure creates stress. And stress releases cortisol. Now listen carefully. This is critical. Cortisol is your body's alert signal. It's the hormone that says, stay awake. Be ready. Something's wrong. So now, instead of calming down, your body is preparing for action. At 3:30 in the morning, that's why your heart starts pounding. That's why your thoughts start racing. That's why you feel wide awake, even though you're exhausted. And here's the irony. The more you fight sleep, the more your body thinks you need to stay awake. Now let me ask you something. What if the goal isn't to fall back asleep immediately? What if the first step is something completely different? This is where most people get it wrong. Because when you wake up at 3 or 4 a.m., you think the night is ruined. But it's not. In fact, this moment can be reset. And I'm going to show you exactly how. The first strategy is simple, but incredibly powerful. Stop trying to sleep. I know that sounds strange, but stay with me. Instead of lying there, frustrated, tense, trying to force your body back into sleep, I want you to do something different. Gently sit up, not fast, not abruptly. Just slowly shift your position. That small movement alone sends a signal to your brain. We're not in danger. Now take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it for a moment, and slowly breathe out through your mouth. Again, in slow, controlled, out longer than the inhale. What you're doing right now is resetting your nervous system. You're activating what we call the rest and restore mode. And within minutes, your heart rate begins to drop. Your muscles begin to relax. Your thoughts begin to slow down. But here's where it gets interesting. Most people stop here. And that's why they don't fully fix the problem. Because there's something else happening in your body at that exact moment. Something subtle, but extremely important. And if you ignore it, you'll keep waking up night after night. In the next part, I'm going to show you one of the most overlooked triggers of early morning wake-ups. It's something you do every single day, without even thinking about it. And it might be quietly disrupting your sleep every single night. Let's talk about something almost nobody connects to sleep. Water. Not sleep pills. Not melatonin. Not your mattress. Water. Now I know what you're thinking. That's too simple. But that's exactly why most people overlook it. Because dehydration doesn't feel dramatic. It doesn't hit you like pain. It whispers. And one of the quietest ways it shows up is waking you up between 3 and 5 a.m. Let me explain. You fall asleep just fine. Your body relaxes. Your breathing slows. But while you're sleeping, something is happening in the background. You're losing fluid. Through breathing, through your skin, through normal overnight processes your body needs to run. And by the time early morning hits, your body starts running low. Now here's where it gets interesting. Your brain doesn't always wake you up and say, "Hey, you're dehydrated." No. Instead, you wake up feeling slightly off. Dry mouth, restless legs, a strange warmth in your body, or that uncomfortable feeling you can't quite explain. Sound familiar? Most people ignore it. Or worse, they panic again. But what your body is actually doing is asking for support. Now here's the mistake I see all the time. People wake up, walk to the kitchen, and chug a big glass of ice-cold water. Feels refreshing, right? But here's the problem. You just shocked your system. Cold water at that hour sends a signal to your body. Wake up. Your core temperature shifts. Your nervous system reacts. And now, instead of getting sleepy, you're even more alert. That's why some people say, "I drank water and couldn't fall back asleep." It's not the water. It's how you drank it. So here's what I recommend to my patients. And this alone has helped hundreds of people sleep through the night again. Keep a small glass of room temperature water by your bed. Not cold, not icy, just neutral. When you wake up, don't rush. Take a small sip. Slowly. Let it sit. Let your body absorb it without triggering a reaction. Now here's where it gets even more powerful. Sometimes it's not just water your body is missing. It's minerals. Specifically, electrolytes. And this is where most people are completely unaware. As we age, our bodies don't regulate fluids the same way. We lose more sodium. We lose more potassium. We lose magnesium, one of the most important minerals for sleep. And when those levels drop, your muscles can feel twitchy. Your heart can feel slightly off. Your body feels wired but tired. That uncomfortable state where you're exhausted. But your system won't shut down. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever woken up feeling restless for no reason? Not anxious, just unsettled? That could be your electrolyte balance. And here's a simple fix. A tiny pinch of natural salt in your water. Not table salt. I'm talking about mineral-rich salt, like sea salt. Just a pinch. You won't even taste it. But your body will feel it. Because what you're doing is restoring balance. And balance is what your body needs to return to sleep. Now if salt isn't your thing, there's another option. A few drops of lemon. Natural. Gentle. Effective. It gives your body just enough support without waking it up. But here's the key. Don't overdo it. This is not about drinking a full glass. Because too much fluid will do the opposite. It will wake you up again to go to the bathroom. And now you're stuck in another cycle. So keep it small. Keep it gentle. Keep it intentional. Now here's something most people never think about. The reason this works isn't just physical. It's psychological too. Because the moment you respond calmly, instead of reacting with frustration, you break the cycle. Your body feels safe again. And when your body feels safe, sleep becomes possible. But hydration is only part of the story. Because there's another trigger that wakes people up at this exact time. And it has nothing to do with your body, and everything to do with what's happening in your mind. In fact, this next one is the reason some people wake up night after night, even when they do everything else right. And once you see it, you won't be able to ignore it again. Let me ask you something. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night and nothing feels physically wrong, but something just doesn't feel right? Your body is still. The room is quiet. But your mind is already moving. And here's the strange part. The thoughts you have at 4 a.m. feel heavier, louder, more overwhelming than they did during the day. Why is that? This is where most people get confused. They think it's insomnia, but often it's not. It's emotional overload, and it shows up when everything else gets quiet. During the day, you're distracted. phone calls, people, noise, tasks. Your brain stays busy enough to avoid what's underneath. But at 3 or 4 a.m., there's nowhere to hide. And suddenly, that conversation you had yesterday comes back. That worry about your health shows up. That thing you've been avoiding thinking about gets louder, much louder. Now here's where it gets dangerous. Because most people do the worst possible thing in that moment. They try to shut it down. They say, stop thinking. Go back to sleep. This is stupid. But that doesn't work. In fact, it makes it worse. Because your brain interprets that resistance as a threat. And when your brain senses a threat, it stays awake. Let me explain something very important. Your mind is not trying to hurt you. It's trying to process something. Something unfinished. Something unresolved. Something you didn't have time or space to deal with earlier. And the only time it can get your attention is when everything else is silent. That's why 3 to 5 a.m. is so powerful. Your brain is sorting, organizing, and processing emotional weight. And if you ignore it long enough, it finds a way to wake you up. Now let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed how your problems feel bigger at night? Something small during the day feels overwhelming in the dark. That's not your imagination. At night, your brain has less external input, so internal thoughts become amplified. It's like turning up the volume on everything inside your head. And if you don't know how to handle that, you get stuck, lying there, thinking, replaying, worrying. And before you know it, an hour is gone. So what should you do instead? This is one of the most powerful techniques I teach my patients. And it's incredibly simple. Don't fight the thought. Face it, gently, without judgment. Sit up slightly, take a breath, and ask yourself one question. What's actually on my mind right now? Not tomorrow, not your whole life, just this moment. And whatever comes up, let it. You don't need to solve it. That's the mistake. You're not there to fix your life at 4 a.m. You're there to acknowledge what your mind is holding. Because the moment you acknowledge it, it loses intensity. Now here's a technique that works extremely well. Keep a small notebook by your bed. Nothing fancy. When you wake up and your mind is active, write it down. Just a sentence. I'm worried about my health. I feel upset about what happened yesterday. I feel alone. That's it. You don't need to explain it. You don't need perfect grammar. You just need to get it out of your head and onto something real. Because once it leaves your mind, your brain no longer needs to hold on to it. And that alone can calm your system faster than any sleep aid. I've had patients tell me, "Doctor, I wrote one sentence, and within minutes, I felt different." That's not magic. That's release. Now here's something most people never realize. If you ignore emotional stress long enough, your body will express it for you. Through tension, through poor sleep, through fatigue, your body always keeps the score. And those early morning wake-ups, they're often the signal. Now don't misunderstand me. This isn't about overthinking your feelings. It's about giving your mind a safe exit, so it doesn't have to wake you up again tomorrow night. But here's the part most people miss. Even after calming the mind, even after addressing hydration, there's still something physical happening in your body that can keep you awake. Something subtle, but incredibly powerful. And if you don't reset it, you'll keep waking up no matter what you do. In the next part, I'm going to show you a simple physical reset technique that takes less than 2 minutes, but can completely change how fast you fall back asleep. And almost nobody is doing it. It's 4 a.m. again. You roll over, adjust the blanket, close your eyes, and nothing happens. Your body feels tired, but it won't let go. Now here's what most people do in that moment. They stay completely still. They try not to move. They try not to wake themselves up. But here's the truth. Staying frozen in bed is often the exact reason you stay awake. Because your body is holding tension. And tension doesn't disappear by doing nothing. It builds in your neck, your shoulders, your lower back, your legs. And even if you don't notice it consciously, your nervous system does. So instead of relaxing deeper into sleep, your body stays in a low-level alert state, just enough to keep you awake. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how stiff your body feels when you wake up in the middle of the night? That's not random. That's your body asking for a reset. Not a workout, not exercise, just a reset. And this is where a simple shift can make a huge difference. Instead of forcing stillness, give your body permission to move. Gently, slowly, no sudden movements. Start by sitting up slightly. Let your spine come out of that locked position. Now take a breath in. And as you exhale, drop your chin toward your chest. Hold it for a few seconds. Then slowly tilt your head to the right. Pause. Then to the left. You're not stretching hard. You're releasing. And as you do this, something interesting happens. Your nervous system starts to calm down. Because movement, when it's slow and controlled, signals safety to your brain. Now let's go one step further. Bring your shoulders up toward your ears. Hold for a second, and then release them down. Do that again. Inhale, lift. Exhale, drop. You'll feel the tension start to melt. That tightness you didn't even realize you had begins to fade. Now here's something most people don't expect. Your legs matter too, especially if you wake up feeling restless. That subtle urge to move, to shift, to adjust over and over again, that's your body asking for circulation. So here's a simple trick. While sitting, gently shake your legs. Just a light movement. Nothing aggressive. Imagine shaking off water from your feet. This helps release that built-up restless energy and brings your system back to neutral. Now here's a small detail, but incredibly important. Check your hands and feet. Are they cold? If they are, your body may be struggling to return to sleep. Because sleep is tied to temperature regulation. Your body needs to lower its core temperature to fall asleep again. And warm hands and feet help that process. So rub your hands together, create a little warmth, and place them over your feet or legs. This simple action can signal your body it's safe to rest again. Now I know what you might be thinking. Isn't all this going to wake me up more? That's the fear most people have. But here's what actually happens. When you move gently, you release tension. When you release tension, your body no longer needs to stay alert. And when your body feels safe, sleep comes back naturally, not forced, not chased, just allowed. I've had patients tell me this changed everything. Instead of lying there frustrated for an hour, they moved for 1 minute and fell asleep within minutes after. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Even if your body is calm, even if your emotions are settled, there's still one thing that can keep your brain wide awake. And it's the one most people never think about. Because it feels completely normal, but it's quietly overstimulating your mind, night after night. In the next part, I'm going to show you how to calm your brain without using willpower. And once you try it, you'll wonder why nobody ever told you this before. Let me ask you something. What do you do the moment you realize you can't fall back asleep? Be honest. Do you reach for your phone? Just for a second, just to check the time, maybe scroll a little, and before you know it, you're fully awake. Now this is one of the biggest hidden traps I see, because it feels harmless. But it's quietly training your brain to stay awake at the exact time you should be sleeping. Here's what's happening behind the scenes. The moment light hits your eyes, especially from your phone, your brain gets a signal. It's morning. Even if it's 3:42 a.m., your body doesn't know the difference. Light shuts down melatonin, your sleep hormone, and once that happens, falling back asleep becomes 10 times harder. But that's only part of the problem. Here's the deeper issue. Your brain is already active when you wake up. Remember that. It's already thinking, already processing. So when you add stimulation, scrolling, reading, watching, you're feeding the fire. Now your brain goes from slightly awake to fully engaged. And once that happens, sleep is gone. That's why people say, I just checked my phone for a minute, and suddenly it was 5 a.m. It's not a lack of discipline. It's biology. Now here's the good news. You don't need to fight your brain. You just need to redirect it. And this is where something incredibly simple becomes powerful. Sound, not noise, not distraction, but the right kind of sound. Because your brain loves rhythm. It loves patterns. And when you give it something gentle, repetitive, predictable, it relaxes, almost automatically. Now let me show you what works best. The first option is something called pink noise. You may have heard of white noise, that static, harsh sound. Pink noise is different. It's softer, deeper, more natural. Think of steady rain, ocean waves, wind through trees. There's a reason those sounds make you sleepy, because they match the natural rhythm of your brain. Studies have shown that this type of sound can actually help your brain shift into deeper sleep patterns, without effort, without forcing anything. Now here's how to use it correctly. Keep it very low, barely noticeable. You don't want to listen to it. You want it in the background, like a soft blanket for your mind. Now if that's not your style, there's another option, guided audio. Short, simple, calm. A gentle voice guiding your breathing, helping your body relax step by step. Not long sessions, just 5 to 10 minutes. Because here's the key, your brain needs something to focus on. If you give it nothing, it creates its own content. And that's when the overthinking starts. But when you give it a calm, repetitive focus, it stops searching. It settles. Now here's something very important. Avoid anything stimulating. No news. No social media. No bright screens. Because once your brain gets pulled into that world, you're not coming back to sleep easily. Instead, create a simple night routine for waking up. Yes, even for the middle of the night. Maybe it's a sip of water, a few slow breaths, a soft background sound. That's it. No thinking, no decisions, just a pattern your body recognizes. Because the more consistent you are, the faster your brain learns. This is safe. This is rest time. And over time, you may not even fully wake up anymore. Now here's the part most people don't expect. When you combine everything we've talked about, calming your body, supporting hydration, releasing emotional tension, and guiding your brain gently, something shifts. Your nights become quieter, more predictable, less stressful, but there's still one final piece. And this one ties everything together. Because it's not just about what you do at 3 a.m. It's about what you understand, about your body. And once you see this clearly, those early morning wake-ups stop feeling like a problem and start feeling like something you can actually control. In the final part, I'm going to show you how to bring all of this together so you don't just survive your nights. You fix them for good. Let me ask you one last question. What if waking up at 3 or 4 a.m. is not your problem, but your signal? Because once you understand what your body is actually doing, everything changes. You stop panicking, you stop fighting, and most importantly, you stop making it worse. Now let's bring this all together. When you wake up in the middle of the night, there are only 4 things happening. Your body is tense. Your system is slightly dehydrated. Your mind is processing something, or your brain is overstimulated. That's it. Not something mysterious. Not something out of your control. Just signals. And now, you know how to respond. Instead of lying there frustrated, you shift your body. You breathe. You reset the tension. Instead of ignoring your body, you support it. A small sip of water. Gentle. Intentional. Instead of fighting your thoughts, you acknowledge them. You give them a place to go. And instead of feeding your mind stimulation, you guide it back to calm. Soft sound. Low input. No pressure. Simple, but powerful. Now here's where most people get this wrong. They try everything once and expect it to work immediately. But your body doesn't learn that way. Your body learns through patterns, through repetition, through consistency. So the real transformation happens when you stop reacting and start responding the same way every time. Because over time, your brain begins to recognize the pattern. Wake up, breathe, calm, return to sleep. No panic, no struggle, just a loop your body trusts. And that's when something incredible happens. You start waking up less. And when you do wake up, you fall back asleep faster, without effort. Now let me be very clear about something. If you've been struggling with sleep for months, or even years, this is not about perfection. This is about progress. Even improving one night turns into improving your energy, your mood, your focus, your health. Because sleep affects everything. Your heart, your memory, your immune system, and most people don't realize. Those early morning wake-ups are often the first warning sign that something needs attention, not fear, not medication right away. Attention. Now here's what I want you to do tonight. And this is important. Don't wait until the next time you wake up. Prepare. Put a small glass of water next to your bed. Have a simple sound ready. Keep a small notebook nearby. Make it easy, so when your body wakes you up, you already know what to do. No thinking, just action. Because the calmer your response, the faster your body follows. And one more thing, be patient with yourself. Your body is not broken. It's communicating. And now, you finally understand the language. So the next time you wake up at 3:00 am, don't say, "Here we go again." Instead say, "I know what to do." And then, do it. Because restful sleep is not something you chase. It's something you allow.